Hey, Wembrook World Entertainment, and we have even more Arnold Schwarzenegger movie updates because yesterday the news came out that he was officially moving forward with King Conan. That's now going to be written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Then he also announced that they've approached him to be in the next Predator movie, if and when that ever happens. And now there's a third movie of his classic ones up for a sequel that he's mentioned. Oh yeah, we just have a script for this. So this one comes out of nowhere, and it is of course Commando 2. Now, Commando is one of those movies that, yeah, it was fantastic at the time. They were looking to do sequels to Commando, and Arnie kept turning it down. He had no interest in returning to it. And what's funny is Die Hard. A lot of people don't know this. Die Hard was originally a script for Commando 2. It evolved into becoming Die Hard, being set at Christmas and in Nakatomi Plaza. But the overall concept of it was the idea for Commando 2. And Arnie turned it down, and the script got sold and became Die Hard, believe it or not. So a lot of people don't actually know that. There's a little bit of information for you. Probably useless information, but information nonetheless. But he's now said Commando 2 seems to be happening with Fox. So they've turned around apparently and told him, yeah, we have a script written, ready to go for you. It's Commando 2. So let's have a look at this. So one of the quintessential action thrillers of the 1980s era is getting a sequel, led by Hollywood and genre icon Arnold Schwarzenegger during his golden age of action cinema, which also saw the former bodybuilder bring muscles and machismo did a silver screen like never before, thanks to roles in the likes of Predator, The Terminator, Conan the Barbarian, The Running Man and more. The follow-up would likely take the legacy sequel approach and bring Arnie back as one of his definitive action heroes. Of course, the question is, how will they actually do it? We'll have to find out. So, the 1985 action movie Commando remains one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's most celebrated pieces of no-nonsense action thrills. Directed by Mark L. Lester from a script by Stephen E. D'Souza, Commando casts Arnie in the classic action hero role of John Matrix, a former United States Army Special Forces colonel. The movie then tracks Matrix through a similarly classic action thriller plot as he's pulled out of retirement for one last job before finding himself on a mission of revenge after his daughter is kidnapped. It's taken before taken, and with far more testosterone, which, of course, we have so many clips that people use from it, including Arnie doing the wrong. That mainly comes from Commando. There is the Terminator one, but everybody uses the Commando one. So after a sequel was posited way back in 1987, with a prequel having also been in the works alongside a potential reboot, Arnold Schwarzenegger has now revealed during a recent appearance at the Arnold Sports Festival in Columbus, Ohio, that a Commando 2 script has already been written. Now, he said this during his information about Predator, just that the stories with the Predator left out the last part, which is where he talks about Commando, this is the full statement. So this is regarding Predator, and then he drops in the information about Commando. So he said, as a matter of fact, Fox Studios has kind of rediscovered Arnold. They've come to me and said, we want you to do Predator. We just got a script for you to do Commando 2. So that's where he dropped the information that Commando 2 has a script, and they just turned around to him and said, well, we've got a script, Commando 2. So boasting memorable one-liners, bloody violence, big explosions, bigger biceps, and the unforgettable sight of a peak Arnie carrying a log, Commando is arguably the defining action thriller of the 1980s. The movie wastes no time in establishing who John Matrix is, what he cares about, his daughter, and how far he's willing to go to rescue her. Add in that a bunch of the slimiest villains you've ever seen, including the chainmail vest wearing, leather trousers sporting leader Bennett, and Commando really is the kind of action movie they don't make anymore until Commando 2, hopefully. And of course, everybody knows that one scene with Bennett, which is this one.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
Yep, let off steam, Bennett. So the Commando update, which comes as something of a surprise, is part of a trio of new legacy sequels that have been revealed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Alongside a potential return as John Matrix, Schwarzenegger has also confirmed that he has been in discussions with Predator Badlands director Dan Trachtenberg about coming back for another round with the Yautja in the next installment. Schwarzenegger also revealed that he will be reprising the role of Conan, who has since become king, in the long-awaited King Conan, with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning director and Top Gun Maverick writer Christopher McQuarrie on board to helm the long-awaited action fantasy project. And of course, with this saying, it boasts memorable one-liners. You've got tons of them. You have that moment on the plane, you know, any luggage and he's just him, you know, just all these things. And of course, one of the most famous lines is this one.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
Yeah, I lied. That is one of the other ones. So between that one, between the let off some steam, Bennett, of course, he says, I'll be back in there. The wrong fat ones in there that we use all the time. There's so many little things like that. The Commando's great, especially the director's cut. If you get the director's cut, it adds so much more, you know, especially when he takes the woman whose name I'm blanking on now, when he first takes her to, you know, to get the car to follow Sonny. He's talking with her and she's like, I suppose you wouldn't tell me if you were going to kill me type thing. He goes, sure I would. That scene has so much more to it in the director's cut, where he does explain to her his daughter was taken and all of this, how long he has and stuff like that, which adds then much more to the scene when he sends her into the restaurant or the bar, whatever it is, in the shopping mall to lure Sonny out. And of course she says it to the security guard, you know, there's a guy out here, he's nuts. So there's so much more in the director's cut. The question is though, how do you do a Commando 2 and have Arnold front and center? I've already seen people kind of saying, oh God, is this going to be he gets kidnapped and the daughter has to save him? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. You know, obviously you are going to have to work it in a way that Arnold doesn't have to try and do everything John Matrix did in the first movie because of his age. Now, when you look at the likes of the Expendable movies, the guys are still able to kick ass. That's great. But at the same time, with a character like John Matrix, you do have to kind of take the age into account and rein it back in a little bit. You can't just have him, you know, carrying logs, basically, you know. So how are they going to work it? And that is the thing, like, if they do make these movies and they pretty much sideline John Matrix and it's like, well, we're going to have him be the one that gets taken and the daughter has to say, nobody's going to want that. Nobody is going to want that. Especially if it's, how do you pronounce the name? Alicia Milano. If she's coming back, like, people will go nuts because she's just like a woke lunatic nowadays. But it is interesting. I'm definitely up for it. I would have been up for it, you know, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, as opposed to now, but it's still interesting. Do I realistically see Commando 2 actually happening? Probably not. You know, it depends what way. Like, they could hand the script to Arnold, he could look at it and go, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Especially if it is the case of, oh, we want you to be the one that's kidnapped or whatever, and the daughter or someone else has to come in and save you. It's Arnold probably like, I get that, but at the same time, no, it's not a substantial enough role and it kind of diminishes Matrix. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, it seems to be that there is officially a script ready to go for this thing. At least a first script. So what do you guys think? Would you be interested in seeing a Commando 2, the return of John Matrix? And do you think they would go in the direction of he's the one that gets taken and the daughter has to save him? What, would that interest you? Well, let me know what you think about all this. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.
Hey, hold it.
I'll be back, Bennett.